Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. About a month ago, I read Outgrowing God, a beginner's guide by Richard Dawkins. It's packed with ideas, but honestly, I don't remember most of them. However, there are three concepts from that book that really stuck with me. They've stayed relevant, thought provoking, and honestly, hard to ignore. Those three ideas are superstitious behavior, agency, and the idea of design and improbability. So let's talk about what they are and why they matter. Imagine this, you're walking past a wishing well. You close your eyes and make a wish and throw in a coin. A few days later, that wish actually comes true. Now be honest, doesn't it feel like the wishing well worked? Logically, you know the coin had nothing to do with it, but emotionally, your brain starts connecting the two. And that's where the problem begins. Because if you believe the wishing well caused your wish to come true, then congratulations, you're not very different from a pigeon. Yes, a pigeon. In the 1940s, a psychologist named B.F. Skinner ran a fascinating experiment. He placed 8 pigeons inside a box. From time to time, food would appear. Here's the important thing. The food appeared randomly. This wasn't like Pavlov's dog. In Pavlov's dog, the bell rang first and then food followed. So there was a connection between food and bell. But here, in Skinner's experiment, there was no such connection at all. Food didn't depend on what pigeons were doing. Sometimes it appeared while a pigeon was walking, sometimes while it was turning its head, sometimes while it was doing absolutely nothing. But when the food appeared for the first time, each pigeon had happened to be doing some random action. And then something strange happened. Each pigeon began repeating that exact same action. One started spinning in circles, another nodded its head repeatedly, another pecked the same corner again and again. Over time, these random movements turned into fixed behaviors. In their minds, the logic was simple. This action makes the food appear. But in reality, the food had nothing to do with their actions at all. Skinner called this kind of behavior superstitious behavior. Superstition is basically believing an action influences an outcome when it actually doesn't. And here's the uncomfortable part. Humans aren't very different. We constantly look for patterns and meaning in random events. If something good happens after we do something, we connect the two. You wear a lucky shirt and win a game, suddenly that shirt becomes magical. Someone prays and later gets good news, the prayer gets the credit, even though millions prayed and nothing happened. Our brains are evolved to spot patterns quickly because it helped our ancestors survive. But that same ability makes us vulnerable. Just like the pigeons, we confuse coincidence with causation. And this leads us to a deeper idea, agency. Agency is the belief that there's always a conscious being behind events doing things on purpose. When something unexpected happens, a storm, a recovery from illness, a narrow escape, we instinctively ask, who did this? So the mind assigns invisible agents behind events, even when natural explanations already exist. Things happen because of physical laws and probabilities, not invisible decision makers. Once you notice how easily the brain invents agency, you start questioning many assumptions about purpose and design, which brings us to the final idea, the idea of improbability and design. When we say something is improbable, we mean it's very unlikely, but still possible. If I toss 10 coins and they are lined heads, you might say I must have done some trick or designed some trick. You'd be shocked. It's improbable, but not impossible. People often argue the same way about the universe. They say the world is so complex, so ordered, so beautiful that it couldn't have happened by chance. So they introduce a designer, an intelligent creator. But complexity doesn't appear in one giant random step. Human biology, which is complex, our eyes, brain, DNA, was built through countless tiny changes, each preserved because it helped survival. It took 6 to 7 million years for modern humans to evolve from ape-like ancestors. Not a day, not a miracle. It took time. What looks impossible today is the result of gradual refinement. And here's the important thing with the designer idea. If complex things require a designer, then the designer would have to be even more complex. That doesn't solve the mystery, it just pushes it back. Finally, when you combine these three ideas, superstitious behavior creates connections that don't exist. Agency assigns conscious being to those connections. Idea of improbability and design turn that agency into cosmic designer. Put them together and you get God. Not because of evidence, but because of how the human mind works. Understanding this doesn't make the universe empty, it makes it honest. A universe that creates beauty without intention isn't meaningless. It's filled with wonder, and wonder, my friend, is where philosophy begins.